Boom, boom. Guess who stepped in the room? What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It is a wonderful, marvelous, magnificent. I'm using all M words, aren't I? But it's a winning Wednesday. It's a woman winning Wednesday. Yes, it is. And so I'm coming to you today. This is Candid Conversations with Carolyn. I got to get that out. I'm starting to get used to this already, right? Something new that I'm going to start. You know me, I'm always coming up with something. But it's Wednesday. It's Winning Women Wednesday. And I got this woman who I'm going to bring to us today who is winning in so many different ways. And we got some stuff that we want to talk about a little later that we got coming up. But in the meantime, today's topic is self-care. Self-care is the best care. I don't know about you, but I really truly believe self-care is the best care. What you think? But yeah, I see you nodding your head back there. Yeah, she's like, it sure is. Yes, yes. So if you ready to come on in, come on in, come on. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? All right, let's bring her. Come on, coming to the virtual stage. Can't wait to introduce you to this beautiful soul. We back there like you're a black girl, you're a black girl, you're a black girl, you're a black girl. Come on and do your thing. Do your thing, Maria. Do your thing. Woo!
You and Carolyn, you gotta dance. You can't. Ain't
You
no.
gotta dance, right?
The shoulders gotta go up and down. You gotta get the arms moving. The head
Gotta
got
get
to
the
nod.
shoulders going.
Yes, you have to get into the vibe. There's no way you can sit there and like, "Hi, Carolyn." Yes,
No, you can't. You got to
can't.
vibe with me. You got and
Absolutely not. So
you
you
have
got
to vibe at 8:30 in the
exactly,
evening. You got to come in. You got to vibe. You got to come in here. Come in here. Come in here.
exactly. As they
Listen.
say, come into the room. Come into the room. Come
Come
into the
into the
room.
room. Yes, I say boom. Guess who stepped in the room? That
Love
Listen.
it.
So
Love
how has
it.
your day been today? Beautiful.
It's been a good one. I'm not going. Hey, I'm here. There's a lot that you could say on the other side, but I'm not. I'm here making it. Each day is a good day. So
Making
I
each
thank
day.
God for that.
There you go. Good day. It's a good day. It's a good day
Mhm.
after all. It's Wednesday. Like one today is my favorite day because it's the middle of the week and it's hump day.
Right?
I'm sorry, that commercial is gonna be forever, forever,
I know. Do
forever.
you know what today is?
You
Do
know what
you
today is?
know what
So let me see if I can get it.
today
So it's in
is?
a mic. I'm like Maria, 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 Maria.
Do you
Guess
know what
what?
today
Guess what day it is?
is? Right?
Hump day. Woo
Right.
woo. I'm sorry. That look if you
No,
got
actually, this is good. Let me tell you, sometimes we just got to take a moment and just laugh. If
and
we
just
do not
laugh.
laugh and be giggly and be silly, because to be honest, that's also a part. Even I know we're going to get into it, but that's part of self care.
It
When you
is.
can allow yourself to just laugh, be silly, sit up here, be goofy, listen, let all of that release all that stuff that's going on. So I love it. I love it.
It's
I'm right
hump
here with you.
day. Like I need
Let me
somebody
tell
to
you,
come in here
you
and just
shut
give
mouth.
me a
I'm
whoop
about to have a
whoop. Like
beat coming up in my.
uh oh.
So look, listen, okay. I'm trying to
Listen.
sit in my seat. I'm about to be bouncing. You know how the
Uh oh.
little.
And if you didn't have any energy, you have it now,
I
right?
got it now. That's
You
it.
got it
And
now.
I love
Listen,
it.
we talk about self care. Self care is like so imperative. So, and it's going to all tie into like the things that you're doing and
Hmm.
the things that we're going to do collectively later. But I really want everyone to just know about you first and
Hmm.
foremost. You know who you are, what you do,
Hmm.
and just like what just makes you like, man, everything.
First and foremost, of course, as you see the name, I'm Maria Pettiford-Atkins, and I am the owner and I run MP Atkins Virtual Assistant Services. And what I do is that I provide administrative services to entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and small business owners. I do that in a way of saying being able to work in your business so that you can work on your business. And there's a caveat that I actually kind of side in there. I'm leaning into being able to work with for owners who are dealing with chronic illness. And in this space of self care, that's extremely important. To be, you have a entrepreneur, a small business owner who is dealing with a chronic illness and needs to be able to navigate through both of them. How do they run a business but also maintain themselves, because they have to do self care, but they also have to be able to maintain their business. So I'm getting ready to go into that space, learn more about what their needs are, what they what they need to be had taken care of and how to be able to assist them, and also in a way, if possible, provide a community. So that I'm looking forward and exciting about that journey. Why I'm going into that, because that represents my story. I'm coming as a wife, as a mother. I have been a former caregiver. I took care of my mom up until she passed away 3 years ago, and just navigating through that world. And as a caregiver, self-care is extremely important. You have to be able to navigate through that world of being able to care for your loved one, but also being able to care for you, because you always are putting somebody else first. You want to make sure that it's okay. But again, if you're not taking care of you, you won't be able to take care of them. And then also I had to do that in terms of my husband. He had a chronic kidney disease that resulted in him having to have a kidney transplant. So that helped me navigate through that, just learning what's needed when you're having someone going through a chronic illness, not only just for a period of time, but for several years. And he was on dialysis. He was doing it at a center. Then he went to doing it from home. And it was a lot of ups and downs with that journey. And just seeing that and having someone navigate through that, and then determining what his life was going to look like, because he couldn't work. So we had to be able to just really work that piece out. So there's been a lot of, so me going into this new space of really working with entrepreneurs who have, who are dealing with chronic illnesses and have needs, it's something that has been really near and dear to my heart. And I'm excited about what that journey will bring. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow, 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 wow. So you definitely had to really figure out, like say, going, you just mentioned a whole mouthful. So
Hmm.
now I see why the connection of why it's important for people with chronic illnesses who are in business, to make sure that, because that's the furthest thing on their mind, like,
Exactly.
you know, I was just sick earlier this year, and I'm gonna tell you, all of this was the last thing on my mind, but that was a temporary time. Can you, just imagine if that's on a continuous basis? So,
Exactly.
just for running a bit, just for running your household, just for running yourself, forget about a business, right?
Hmm.
Just for your regular everyday life, just
Right.
doing things. And then so you're able to bring that whole, that whole care, self-care for not just for yourself based on your experiences, but just to allow someone else to be able to tap into the things that they need to do. And I'm pretty sure some of the things overlap, your business, your personal, all of those
Right.
things do overlap. So,
Right. Right.
man, yeah, that, who would have thought that that would be a need? So what made you really want to tap into that? I mean, outside, you were doing things with your husband and you understood that, but that had nothing to do with a business. So where did you get the idea? Where did it come from to have that
Just
be your niche?
I watched basically what had it came as a thought. God brings down all kind of he downloads a lot of things to you. And as I was thinking about it, I started to just do a little bit of research and just wonder how many people are actually dealing with a chronic illness and are trying to navigate but don't really want to talk about it. And I'm
Mhm.
actually am running into that space where preliminary research is showing that it's kind of taboo to talk about it because they don't want to be seen as something going on and something wrong. But they have needs and they have systems and things that are going on. And for a business owner, especially when you're navigating it, we're doing most of these things ourselves.
Mhm.
We're the marketing person, we're the admin person, we're the social admin person, we're this person, we're that person. We have so many different roles that we're playing. So if that's for me, who is, and I don't want to say able bodied, but who does not have to deal with a chronic illness, imagine someone who has a chronic illness and then they got to have that downtime because an episode is coming on, depending on
Right.
what it is that they're facing.
Right.
You got to be able to take away. So how does your business continue to run? What does that look like? Do you have to shut it down, or are you losing clients? There's so many different things, but are we able to talk about it? Are you in a safe space that you can
Mm.
share this information and say, okay, I need help in these areas. What are those needs? So
Mm.
it just kept spiraling into, as I thought one thing, something else came, another thing came, another thought came, and I said, let me just really see where this could go. And so far, it's showing that there's a need. It's more importantly community, because I've watched the other part of it is that I've watched um, someone that was near to my husband. He got sick and everything is shut down. He wound up going in for one ailment and came out with something and had to deal with something else. So now he has to recover totally. And what does that look like to him? Now he's coming back. What does that journey look like? Is, systems in place, things of that nature. So what happens when you have to go down, but you still, that's your bread and butter. That's your income. You're maintaining your business. So how do you navigate through those things and still
Mm-hmm.
continue to run a business? So also on top of it, building community so that when something happens, you have a line of communication. You have someone that can step in and be able to assist you in that time of need. But that is already building up, not something that you're trying to rush and have happen because you're in a moment of a crisis. So
Right.
that's the key.
And that's key is an understatement. So just about, I mean, think about it for people
Mm-hmm.
who are, like you said, able bodied. I'm actually sorry, I'm making sure I'm tagging you so that way your
Right.
folks can see this too. But
Okay.
you know, that's something that's also for able bodied. Like you said for people who are just dealing with chronic diseases, chronic things in general, self-care is important. Like what really stood out to me, what I heard, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought about some other things when you said, people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
That is just a chronic thing across the board.
Yes.
People don't want to talk about anything that they're going through, any kind of ailment, any kind of discomfort, any kind of thing that's going to be perceived as a disability, right? And that could be mentally, that could be physically, that could be spiritually, that could be emotionally, all those gamuts. People
Mm-hmm.
just don't want to share. They just keep everything to themselves, and then everything else kind of falters, right? So have you seen that in your, like, before I guess you switched over to being able to be this resource for people with chronic diseases? Like, have you noticed that that was the case outside of that?
It wasn't so much as that as it was the fact of when it being able to talk about it ongoing.
Okay.
So the thing is that most of the time it's, and there's no offense to those that are the circle that you're around, but there's usually a time limit on how much you can talk about what's going on with you. So if you're dealing with something that is long term, usually by the time year one, year two, year three, depending on your circle, the being able to communicate it constantly falls away because that's your life. So that becomes your conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
finding those people that you can really sit down and talk about the different things that are going on, because again, you may have it's this part of the element this time. You might deal with something else, but it'll just being able to talk about it. So after a while, you feel like you're being a burden. So I think what it is that sometimes it's within your mind first that you don't
Mm-hmm.
like I'm talking about the same thing over and over again, but there's different parts to it. So you need that community or someone that you feel comfortable with, that even though you're going through this journey, someone will go with you through the long haul and be able to still communicate with you if it's year one, year two, year three, year 10, year 12, really being able to do that. And it's hard for them, to find that
Right.
partner. So I think that's what keeps them quiet over time, because they realize they feel like, okay, if I keep talking about it, I'm just going to alienate somebody, or they don't want to hear it, or feel like the person doesn't want to hear it. And
Mm.
so hopefully by me getting into this niche, we'll be able to generate a community that we all recognize that you need to talk about this, and that you
Yeah.
need to talk about it on a consistent basis, because that's part of your healing. That's
Right.
acknowledging, not so much as dwelling in the oh woe is me, but just recognize I have this. How can I make it better? I'm not today's a bad day. I want to be able to talk about it. And for some communities that may not be an issue, but in those that I've come across, the ability to really want to talk about it is not there. So that's
It's
where
not
I'm trying
there. Wow. That's true. That's true.
so that's
Wow.
it. But hopefully, to speak to the other part, it's a possibility that may be an issue as well, where they just don't want to talk about it. I like I spoke earlier in my research, I'm coming into that where people want to, they want to be anonymous. They don't want to talk about what's going on. They don't mind sharing, but don't share their name. Don't share,
Mm-hmm.
where they're coming from or who they work for or what they do, because they don't want
Mm-hmm.
their clients to know. So it's a lot. It's a shame in the sense that you want to have that freedom to be able to share what it is, what's going with you, and hopefully come across compassion and empathy.
Right. Right.
But sometimes
Yeah.
it's not always possible.
Right. That's true. And then there are some people that have ailments. Like I know several people that have chronic diseases that are not, they're not physically seen. Like you can't look at them and tell,
Right.
right, that
Right.
they're suffering with something, with a chronic disease, but they have this pain internally. So that's just, we're just going to use, hold on to that for a metaphor for just
Mhm.
us in life,
Right.
right? We go through chronic things in our life,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't tell from the outside, but
Right.
on the inside, we're suffering. And
Right.
see, this is where self-care comes in. And this is why, it's self-care is the best care. And so it's just the best care there is. And I see Paige. Hey, Paige, so glad you were able to catch us live too. So what's going on, Paige?
Age.
So I know. So listen, self-care is definitely the best care, because at the end of the day, regardless what other people see around you or assume around you or whatever the case, and whether you decide to speak up or not, the difference is when you are able to identify, right, and
Right.
have that awareness of what's going on,
That's it.
you are caring for yourself, because no one's going to care for you the way you care for you. At least that's how I see it. I don't know.
And
What about you?
yeah,
What about you?
I
What you
get
think? What
that.
you
I
think on
think the part is creating that safe space, because so that you feel that you can care for yourself. Because again, society, if we deal with society, we gotta hustle, we gotta grind, we gotta, go to the from, sun up to sundown. That's
it?
what the norm is. And even
Right.
that we're coming from COVID, hopefully, with the pandemic, there has been a lot of introspection, but then people want to get back to the norm, but there's a new norm. So,
Right,
right.
right, right. The norm. What is the norm? We don't even know what the norm is anymore.
Exactly. And
Look,
hopefully that there was an embrace, people were embraced that, okay, me taking care of me is okay, because then it benefits so much more. If I take the time and, I'm not stressed, and I'm, they got a chance to see what it's like to not be on that grind, to not go so hard and not push, to the point of exhaustion, and really taking that moment. Because again, if you're not exercising, if you're not doing certain things, that your brain, your body, and cannot function. It's just not possible. And it's also with a chronic illness, you need a little bit more just to
mm-hmm,
make sure that you're okay, so that you have the energy and the ability to meet the needs of your clients and your customers, and the services that you provide. But
mm-hmm,
you got to be okay with saying, if I take a step back, me time is important. I know someone that I'm part of a community, and they take time for me time, and they advocate that to others. Please take time for you, because now they can present themselves to their community, again, to their clients, their customers,
right.
their best selves and their authentic selves, because now they are more aware of who they are.
Yep. And not like you said, and that's not just for their clients, but for themselves, for their family,
Exactly.
for everyone that's around them.
Exactly.
Because like,
Exactly.
okay, like, and it's so important to be able to take that time. Like, for instance, I
Mm-hmm.
had someone, I had two, I'll give you an example. I have two examples today.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting that we're talking about this today. And I didn't even think about it so just now. So I had someone call me, and because they wanted to take off, they wanted to go do something. So you know what? I just need some time today. Like, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to take off. I said, well, what time do you get off? Well, I don't get off until like 4:30, but I really want to go and do something. Or 5 o'clock, something like that. And so I really just want to I can't today. Like, our brain, I'm
Mm-hmm.
shutting down. It's like 1:30, and I'm nah. I just need to just not finish the rest of this day. And so I
Right.
said, okay, well then go ahead and take the day. Or you say, is there such thing as an R&R day? I said, if that's what you need. It's
Right.
You just need to take some time. So what do I say? So you just need to take some time off. You just need to take some time off for you. That's it. Sometimes there's no explanation. You don't have to go into an explanation of why you need to take care of self. It's a self-care day. This is
Exactly.
a me, myself, and I day. This is a day that you need to just unplug, and it's okay, right? It's okay. And earlier on in the, like you said, in the situation we're in, the pandemic and everything, that was, because we talk next month is going to be mental health awareness month.
Mm-hmm.
That's messing with your mental health if you're like to a
Right.
point where you're saying, I just need to unplug. Like, I
Right.
can't finish. This is not working for me. It's not
Right.
gratifying to my soul. So guess what? Instead of what we're so accustomed to pushing through, and that's
Yeah.
not a problem. There are times and places to push through, but there's also times and places to just fall back and just, you know what?
Absolutely.
I have the time. It's not like I don't have the time. What am I saving it for? I'm saving it so that way I can get it later and I may not use it. Like, that kills me when people have all this vacation time and they have this sick time and they just put it in the bank. I just want to wait. I want to wait. But they'll suffer physically suffer when you have time. Sometimes we need that time to care for ourselves. So I just say, go ahead and just, send your supervisor a message and say, I just need to take some time off, starting at 2 o'clock. And that's it. And then, you put your time in and use sick time. Yeah,
Right.
but they're gonna say something. I said, if they do, you just say it's because you need that time. It's a self-care day. It's a medical thing. It's still mental health is still mental health. So it's
That's it.
self-care. That's it. It's self-care. So that's that example. And then here's another example where I had to, and I was like, high five, Carolyn, high five. I had to high five myself. I was like, hey. I listen, when you ever get into like a conversation with someone and they're all like excited or energy transfers, right? Energy transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase the excited. They're
Mm-hmm.
anxious or uneasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and they're telling you about their day and they're telling you about the situation and they're going and they're going and they're going and their energy and everything is like going up and their heart rate, everything is just like blah, 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 blah. And you're just listening. And then after a while, it's like now you start feeling like they're feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, this energy is transferring over to me. And
Right.
I shouldn't be feeling like this. I feel fine. Why am I feeling all nervous and anxious and stomach in a knot? And I'm like, oh, this is stressing me out. Wait a minute. So
Mm-hmm.
so now I recognize that instead of continuing with the conversation, I paused and said, I really don't want to talk about this anymore because this is not making me feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
this isn't even mine to carry. It's like that's between you and whatever situation. And I don't really want to discuss this anymore.
That's
And that's
boundaries.
it. And that's what I had to do. And it was no disrespect to anyone else, but
Mm-hmm.
that was me taking care of me. So
Right.
I could have gotten off that call and like, because it's so interesting because I was on a call with the person the other day and all of that transpired. And the whole day I was like, I feel drained. Why am I so tired? And I was like, oh, I know why now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That wasn't me. That was someone else. So you have to be cognizant of that. That's part of your self-care. Really identifying what belongs to you and what doesn't.
Right.
Really identifying when you need to take that time and when you don't. So I had two different examples of when
Right.
it's yours and when it's not, and how
Right.
to handle that. What's your thoughts on that when you talk about self-care?
No, you actually, because you definitely said when it's yours and being able to be okay with it. And I think that's the thing that we worry about is what the others say. You know what I mean? That's the focus we're on. We're like, what is, they're gonna them, and those. Who are they? Who are them? And who are those? So you worry about that part, but then realize that you're losing in the long run, because now you're not being authentic to yourself. You're not being authentic to the people the environment that you're in, and saying, okay, today I'm at my level. I'm whatever that level is, and for each of us is different. So just being
Mm-hmm.
okay with saying, I'm tired. When you say you're tired, it could be more than just physical. It could be mental. It could be so many other things. Especially if we go through a traumatic experience. A lot has, using the pandemic as an example,
Mm-hmm.
there has been a lot going on. People have lost loved ones.
Yeah.
People have been very ill dealing with this pandemic. People have
Yeah.
come through illness, but there's a long time in terms of recovery. So there's emotions and feelings and things that come with that. And to be able to sit there and say, I need that space, to be
Mm.
able to sit there and say, I need that time to mourn, to cry, to do whatever those emotions are. And oftentimes, because when we say, I need that moment, we cut it off. We may give ourselves a little bit, but then we also cut it off because now I got to get back to whatever it is that I'm doing.
Right.
So we shut it down. So then when we say that we need, like the person said, I just needed to take that time, it's almost like you feel guilty asking, or you feel guilty to say. And I'm like, why are we feeling guilty about that?
Right.
We
Right.
need it.
Right.
We need it. So,
For
it's
the
just
mere fact, for the mere fact they had to get confirmation and clarity,
exactly
like, is it okay to do this? Like,
right, right. Because in their mind, because you got what you need to do, but then you're also worrying about, again, they, them, and those. What are they going to say? Who's listening? Because, oh, now, oh, and then unfortunately, you'll hear somebody say, "Oh, you taking another day?" So, the thoughts process, you start playing that script.
The thought
So, and
process,
then,
exactly.
right.
And here's the other thing too, because I remember in the
Mhm.
conversation when the person was like, "Well, I'm going to, I'm gonna send a message," and so, well, I'm just going to ask. I'm not going to say, 'cause, they don't like it when they, right, say they, them, and those. They don't like when you
Mhm.
tell them what you're going to do. You're just going to ask. Well, is it okay that I take, that I sign off starting at
Right.
2 o'clock? Why do you need to ask permission for your own self?
Right. Right.
That's that, you know what I'm saying? So because we're conditioned to not care for ourselves, we care about other people and
Right.
not ourselves.
Right.
That's why
And it has to
self-care
be
is
a
the best
balance in
thing.
it, because we don't want to take away caring for others, but it has to be balanced so that you, again, if you care for you, then you can care for others.
Then you
I
can, right,
think,
right,
right. So, and I think that's the part that, it, if we can get away from the selfish part that comes with self care, because when you hear self care, you feel like, okay, I have to be selfish. You're not being selfish. You're taking care of you so that whatever it is that, whether God is giving you a mission or a purpose or whatever your role is or whatever, um, role you play, whether it's in business or in home, you're available. You're able to be present. Somebody might need something, but if you're not in the total, have taken care of you, you're going to give them part. So therefore, if somebody says something, you're going to flip off. That's when the anger comes in, the frustration comes in, the snapping comes in. So, that's why it's important. And
that is
to,
why.
to,
Hmm.
to the other part of what you were talking in the second part, that was about, I heard boundaries. I heard that you recognize that you had a limit, that, okay, I'm not here for you, but there's a limit as how far I can go. What my role is for you is that I was able to listen to this part. This is all that I can give you, and I have to now step away. So, and that's what you were able to present. And it was like, okay, this is that's the limit I made. So I didn't see anything wrong with that. And I think there's again, there's could be a guilt with that as well, because you stepped away, and now that person may feel, oh well, they're not there for me. They're not distant. Well, you were. No one said how far that role was going to be. That person presented themselves to the best of their ability, and we have to
Right,
accept the roles that that person play.
right,
Everybody's not going to do it the way that you do it or what the
right,
expectation is. That's the
right.
other part. What are we expecting them to give us? And we have to be
Exactly.
mindful of that. So
Exactly.
I saw it.
Keyword boundaries, boundaries, keyword boundaries, keyword. And you know what, when you said, about being the selfish, we gotta take the selfish part out. That,
Yeah,
I can't be remiss but not put this plug up here about, self-care is not selfish.
absolutely.
Self-care is not selfish. It is not, it
Yes.
is not, it is not. You got, look, you click on the link that's in this whatever this is, wherever you're at, whether you're on Facebook. I know I was about to say in the link in the bio because I'm so used to saying that. But it is.
Right.
It's in the link in my bio. It really is. If you click on the link in my
Right.
bio, you can actually get this. Well, that's I
Mm.
did need to say that. You can actually get this free ebook from our partner. Oh my gosh, she is just amazing. I interviewed her a couple weeks ago. We're about to do an amazing, 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 amazing with Deborah B. Hamilton, the self love workshop. Let me put that up here. Self love makeover workshop. How to love yourself unconditionally. Where you have Deborah, Maria, and myself all day, May 7th. So listen, I'll put the link up there later, but I definitely want to make sure everyone at least get the free ebook of self love, self care. What is it? Self care. I get the two backwards. Self care. Self care is not selfish. This is, I'm telling you, this workbook is amazing. You definitely need to get it. It's free. Just go get it. Click on the link in my bio to grab it. It's also, the link is actually in this post. Whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, just go ahead and get your copy. It's absolutely free. Costs you nothing but your time. That's it. Because it's not selfish. Just you don't need permission. What Maria said, the they, them, and those, and them, and who are they? Who those people? Who those people? So yeah, when you said that, I was like, self care is not selfish. It's not selfish. We gotta take the selfish care out of it. It's
Yeah.
not selfish. You have to learn to be. And I said this the other night. I was on another program, and I had to basically just say, when you're really focusing on yourself, you have to wind up being selfish in an unselfish way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
Because
it.
there's That's it. And there's so many facets to it. You know what I mean? Because it goes into it expands into other areas. So therefore, when you deal with the self care, you become self aware. There's a growth level that goes on. You learn more about yourself. There's a level of confidence, self respect, things of those nature that comes up. So you get
Mm-hmm.
to grow. As a person, because now you're becoming more in tune to who you are, and you learn more about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You learn
because
more
now
about
you're
yourself.
stopping and you're saying, this is what's going on with me. And even not so much, yes, earlier we talked about with the chronic illness, but it's just in totality of who you are as a person. What is it that's going on with my body right now? What's
Right.
happening? We're getting older. If you're with my age,
They never lied, girl.
summer is around all the time, whether it's winter, fall, spring, or summer. It's look,
Girl,
we
I'm
have
sitting over here like, am I getting hot again? Like, wait a minute.
exactly. Okay, so that's aware. You got to be aware of what's going on, because if you did I eat something that triggered what's going on? Do I need to be mindful of that? Did I drink something I wasn't supposed to? Did the wrong clothes? What? Oh, I can't wear that. But if you're not aware, you're not gonna make the changes. You're
I'm
gonna
not
sit
going to
there and
make
keep doing
the
it, and it's
necessary changes, the necessary
exactly
changes.
necessary
So
changes. Or sit up there and embarrass yourself because you about to do something you ain't supposed to.
listen, I almost did it a couple times. I was like, woo! I got
See, see,
listen. I heard these stories, but I didn't believe it, and now I'm
right,
experiencing it, and I'm like,
right,
this ain't no joke, like at
absolutely,
all, at all, at all, at all. But listen, I mean,
absolutely.
listen, this whole weekend we can go all day talking
Yes, we
about
could.
self care. We could
Yep.
talk all day about and that's literally what about self love. Like when you love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then you can, like you said, you set the boundaries for yourself. You give
Right.
yourself permission, right?
Right.
You don't worry about the them, the those, and the theys, right? What they think, what they're going to say, and then you're able to speak up about the
Right.
things. You don't have to keep it to yourself, and you don't have to be embarrassed about it or ashamed about it, and all of the things that that able body and disabled bodies go through,
Right.
because
Right.
it's a body thing, right?
Absolutely.
It's everybody. That's where you go. So forget disabled body or able body. It's everybody.
It is. It is every because the other part to it, to bring even another facet, is that when you give yourself care, you're also caring for others, because by you having putting in the systems in place, figuring out what it is that you need, now there's a communication that goes on with your family. They know what's going on with you. You are open communications a little bit better, because now you're aware of what it is that you're dealing with and what you're facing.
Right.
And
Right.
then if something is going on, take it to the business side. Now there's an open communication with those, your staff or whatever the case may be. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. So now these systems are in place. So that in the event that something happens, things can keep moving.
Things can
So
definitely be
it's a
moving.
win-win all the way around. It's just that we got to get to that point.
Got to get to that point. We got to get. Listen, I'm loving this conversation. These candy conversations. Like you don't know what we're gonna talk about. You like you didn't know. Like wait a minute, self love is the best love. Why is it? Yeah, because it
Hmm.
is. When you love
Definitely.
yourself
Yep.
in an unselfish way,
There you go.
then you can love everyone else. Then you have
Absolutely.
room for everyone else because you have already made room for yourself. And that is so key, so key. So we are excited to bring to you the self love makeover. Woo, 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 woo,
Yes,
woo.
workshop.
And the
Yeah.
workshop, listen, make sure you go and you register for this workshop. It's going down on
Yes.
May 7th at
Yep.
from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Oh, just take that day. It's your day. It's a self-care day. Self-care is not selfish. Remember, self-care
Absolutely.
is not selfish. So let that be the day that you can pour into you or allow yourself to be poured into. How about that? You're going to get poured into
Exactly.
and we're going
Exactly.
to pour it into you at the same time. So definitely make sure you go to this bit.ly/NYL self love. You can also click on the link in the bio, my bio. You can also go to the description of this broadcast, and then you can get the link to register for this course,
Yes.
for this amazing workshop, and then also get that free workbook. I'm trying to tell you, self care is not selfish.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
It's not. It's not.
No.
That's all I'm going to say. It's not. And so with that, I want to state, Maria, just kind of let everybody, I want to show them the flyer once again, so they can say, give a shout out to our fearless leader in this workshop.
Yes. yes.
We got to give homage to her. As soon as I find the doggone fly, where's the flyer at? Where it at? Where it at? Where it at? Where it at? Here we go. So the self love makeover. I got to turn over a little bit. How
Right,
to
right.
how to I know right? Which way we gonna go? How to love how to love yourself
That's right. We're gonna
unconditionally.
make it all about Deborah today,
I know
tonight.
it's all about Deborah today, right? And we're featuring
Mhm.
Maria
Yes.
Pettiford-Atkins and myself, Carolyn Wilson. We are going to bring you a workshop that she has put some stuff together that you guys are going to be totally blessed, totally in
Absolutely.
the spirit of understanding it, understanding your worth, understanding, your respect and the growth that you can have within yourself. Like I can tell you that when you are able to tap into the self-love, then you are able to then, do the things like I did earlier today, like have those boundaries of like, you know, I'm done with this conversation. Like this is not satisfying and
Mhm.
explain why. Like this
Right,
isn't sitting well with me. And I don't like the
right.
way this is making me feel. So it's not like I just said, like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to hear no more. And left it at that. No, I explained. I don't really want to hear any more of this because this doesn't feel right to me. It
And
doesn't.
that's clear communication. That's the key part, because
Yeah.
again, going back to the roles that people play, you're able to speak to the expectation because if there was one, you're saying, okay, I'm not able to meet this expectation. And hopefully that person was able to communicate with you as well and say, okay, I
Hmm.
understand. And
Yeah.
there's no love loss because it was
No.
clear.
It was
You know
no
what I
love
mean?
lost. It was no. He was like,
Right.
okay,
You
he's like, I
talking
get
to
it.
each
I
other.
understand. Because I
Right.
think a statement was made. He was like, well, now you understand how I feel. Because I was like, this is getting on my nerves.
Mhm.
he was like, like now you know how I feel. I said, yeah, but I shouldn't be feeling that way because this doesn't belong to me. This belongs to you, and I don't like
Right.
the way this is making me feel. So I really
Mhm.
don't want to talk about this any longer.
Okay.
And that was it. But I gave an explanation why because I didn't
And
just
that
leave it. And there you
Right.
go.
Right. You still gave empathy, you still gave compassion, but there was a limit, and
There
that's
was a
it.
limit. There was a limit. Then
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, because your body keeps the score. There's a book about the body keeps the score. Your body will tell you. Listen
Mhm.
to what your body tells you. And I was
Mhm.
like, this don't feel right. And wait a minute.
Mhm.
This ain't
Mhm.
even mine to carry. Hold up.
Mhm.
I'm giving this thing back to you.
Right.
Back to you, Channel 6. Like right there, there's that news van again. Get back on it. Cause I'm
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
listen, Maria, tell everybody how they can reach you and give everybody a last word, a self-care, self-love word, that they can, let them carry themselves through. We gotta give them some good vibes here.
Gotcha. So you definitely can reach me on social media as well. It'll say MP Atkins VAS if you hit IG or either through Facebook. Actually, or if you want, you can also hit me through my website, which is www.mpatkinsvas.com. You can reach me that way as well. Basically, I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you come out to the workshop. We talked about self care. That is just one aspect of it. We're going to hit on many different levels. Deborah has really put her heart and soul into this to really give each of those who are in attendance for the workshop something that they will be practical steps, practical tools, things that you will definitely have to do to work. So that will be key. You will have awareness of what we are going to show you, but then also there's a work that needs to be done because what becoming aware and not doing the work is not going to get you anywhere. So you definitely have to do the work. And it's just important to be able to really love up on ourselves. So again, like I've been saying throughout this whole conversation, in order to love on others, you got to be able to love on yourself first and be able to be present for others. So it's extremely important that we take the time for ourselves. And those that are dealing with chronic illness, there is someone coming who wants to be able to help you. If you are dealing with a chronic illness and just need someone to talk to, please reach out to me. I would love to just talk to you further and be able to see what I can do to offer an assistance, whether it's through services or just helping to create a community. So hopefully looking to talk to some of you real soon and hopefully see you at the workshop.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much. So
you. I appreciate your time. I really do. Thank you so much. It was an awesome opportunity to
oh,
really
you're
just sit
quite
down and
welcome.
chat. Like I said, get
Yeah,
to dance out as well. And we danced in, so we're gonna dance back out
you want to
as
dance
well.
back?
I appreciate the energy, just to be able to be live. Yes, freedom. Yeah, come on
Right
now.
on. Yes. Well, thank you.
Love,
Thank you. I'm gonna put you backstage.
thank
Don't
you.
you stay tight. I'm gonna come back to you
Yes,
after I close this out. But
sounds
thank you
good.
once
Thank you.
again. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you
Awesome.
guys, listen. When I tell you that self-care is the best care, and we had an amazing conversation with Maria from all the things that she's doing for to help the community, the disabled body, right? I guess able body, unable body. I got to be politically correct, but just anyone dealing with a chronic illness that needs self care, right? When it comes to their business. But then we was able to cross that sector because guess what? Whether you're able body, disabled body, but I just identify as everybody. Everybody needs to be able to tap into this thing called self care because self care has to do with your self love of yourself. When you are able to understand who you are, what you are, and where you are going with everything that you have that makes you amazing. So listen, this is your girl Carolyn. Candid conversations with Carolyn. That's a tongue twister. Make sure you say it 5 times. And I will see you guys. I can't wait to see who I'm going to bring to you guys next. And we're going to make this fun. I'm going to figure out which day we're going to play around with. But I like that this is a winning Wednesday, a woman winning Wednesday. So I might just stick with this day. In the meantime, I do one of three things: be empowered, be inspired, and most importantly, just be magnified. See you guys. Take care. Enjoy your evening. Bye.